MediaTek and Qualcomm are two names when we talk about chipset, but it is the former which has been ruling for the past few quarters. What gives MediaTek an edge? To talk about this and much more, we have Anku Jain, MediaTek Director of India. Thank you, sir, for giving us time.
My pleasure.
So, sir, we will talk about with something very recent. MediaTek partnered with Jio and launched JioBook. You have democratized the laptop segment. What do you think will be the response, and what are your future plans in the laptop segment?
So, recently we have seen, especially during the COVID times, a lot of activity has happened using the Chromebooks and laptops and so on. Things like online learning, online education, and entertainment and all that, right? So that has really, this segment has really picked up speed, and we feel this is going to give a lot of options to the consumer to do what he likes to do, and in the segments I mentioned earlier. So we are very hopeful of for this segment.
And sir, we all know that the first instant of JioBook was not that successful. It was with Qualcomm. So what are the learnings and how you have done something different, and what are the expectations?
So we have very high expectations. We think it's a great product, and it's using our chipset, which is having great performance and great battery life and so on. So we expect that this to be very good for the consumers. That's what we are really rooting for.
And when we talk about numbers, we see that for the last couple of quarters, MediaTek has been on the top of the list. So tell us something, what goes through your R&D, what are the things that are keeping MediaTek at the top, and what are your future plans, in what all segments you are trying to venture into?
So if you talk about India, I think last 1 to 2 years has all been about 4G to 5G transition,
Yes.
right? And luckily 5G got launched in last October. And since then, we have seen more and more uptake of 5G phones. So that has been one big topic for us, that has kept us on our toes. And our strategy has always been to democratize technology. So we have a very large portfolio of 5G domestic chipsets, starting from mainstream to premium to flagship. And recently, in fact, we have launched MediaTek's Dimensity 9200 Plus, which is a flagship 4nm chipset, and also 7000, 6200, and so on. So our endeavor is always to have a complete portfolio, a wide portfolio, so that we can give solutions to entire demography of India. And that has worked pretty well for us. And as you mentioned, we have had a very great position in the industry for this smartphone chipsets. And I think that will continue. And definitely, along with 5G, 4G also plays a role. So we have had the Helio series of chipsets like G36 and G99. They're also doing pretty well. So this entire portfolio is helping us to in our mission to democratize technology further for the Indian Indian masses.
Before we talk about other portfolio of yours which you are trying to venture, is there any number to show, I mean in terms of 4G and 5G, which is contributing more to the overall sale numbers of the MediaTek?
So we don't have a specific number for this, but what we have seen is that 5G penetration is increasing slowly and steadily. And that will continue over the next few years, right? It won't be a sudden 100-0 kind of thing, right? So, but the direction is very clear that more and more people wants to enjoy the 5G technology in terms of speed and latency and so on. So that direction is quite clear. But I think both will continue for some time though.
Okay, and please tell us something about different ventures which you are trying to walk into. Like you recently talked about that you are making chips for cars and all those. So what all portfolio you are trying to explore in the coming days?
So so let me take a step back and talk about the past first, and then we can quickly jump into what the question. So far we have had number one position in several different verticals. For example, smartphones we have discussed already. And also things like Chromebooks and voice assistant speakers, optical drives, connectivity solutions, right, and smart TVs. So all these segments we have had number one position, and we are still we are continuing to do that. So this is I think this strategy will continue for us. This position will be we'll make sure it is kept there. So that's what it is. But then of course we have launched some new segments, and which you mentioned correctly that automotive is something we have announced in April, just a few months ago. We have talked about the MediaTek Dimensity Auto series of chipsets for in segments like Auto Connect, Auto Drive, Auto Components, and Auto Cockpit. So these are some segments which we have announced. And also in June, we had in fact announced our partnership with NVIDIA to have a complete connected solution for the upcoming state-of-the-art vehicles. So that is a new segment that is very, very exciting. And secondly, we also announced in MWC again this year itself that about the satellite communications, right? So of course 5G is great, but there are some areas which don't have 5G connectivity, and then we want to make sure that the end user still have a connectivity, right, somehow. So this satellite communication, both IoT NTN and new radio NTN, both will provide seamless connectivity for the end user.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, recently we saw, just a day before, we saw that government has imposed the ban of import of laptops. So do you think such kind of step can be taken in terms of semiconductors and chipset also, and how you are preparing yourself to tackle those situations?
So this is a very recent, I think just happened yesterday,
yes.
I think, and so we are still looking at it, what it means, and we need to understand the details.
Yes.
Always devil is in detail, right? So we are still looking at that. But overall, I think Make in India initiative, India is quite, promising and really pushing forward to it. And we are seeing many different companies from globally who are setting up manufacturing in India. So that's really something great for the country. But specific to this announcement, we are still looking at it. How will that impact the industry? And let's see how it goes. But I think the intention of the government is to have more and more manufacturing in India.
Yes. So any plans of setting or being into partnership with some companies to set up such kind of fabrication process in India? So
actually, you would know that MediaTek is a fabless company, right? Yes. So we design chipsets and we co-work with our partners, who are manufacturing these equipments and devices. So, but our endeavor is always to spend time on R&D, right? To innovate what's next and what's the cutting edge technology. So our teams are always busy on that. So we want to make sure that we come up with new chipsets with more features and more state-of-the-art technology. And but about this partnerships, of course, we partner with them. We give R&D support, etc. We do have a large presence of R&D engineers in India, right? And that is going to grow further in coming years. So that's where we want to focus.
You talked about that you focus on R&D and new chipset.
Yeah.
We all know that 9200 plus is going to be in the market soon.
Right.
Any kind of scoop you want to give us about the next chipset which you are working on?
So that is something we wait for our partners to announce. Yeah. So of course that's a great chipset, and we are looking forward to for penetration of that chipset. But I really cannot comment on the OEM partners we are working with.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for giving us
All
time.
right. Thank you. Pleasure.